Well, you're thinking about moving to Southwest Washington. Somewhere by Vancouver? Well, there are 6 other suburbs that you should know about. Hey everybody, I'm Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass. I'm a real estate professional here in Southwest Washington and also in Oregon. But my guess is today you found me because you're thinking about moving to Vancouver, Washington, which is located in Southwest Washington. But you also are like, what else is around there? So there are 6 other suburbs around Vancouver, Washington that are lovely places to live, and I'd love to talk all about them with you today. All right, first up on our list of suburbs of Vancouver, and I say that loosely because not even all of them are actual cities, but they're not neighborhoods either. But the first one is Camas, and it's the one just about everybody's heard of. It is east of Vancouver, down Highway 14, and it is relatively decent in size. It's got about a population of about 26,000 for the 2020 census. And honestly, it is probably the most popular suburb. And if you're from California, chances are if you do not locate to Old Evergreen Highway in Vancouver or Salmon Creek, you are probably going to end up in Camas. Because, well, it's a cool place to live. It is got the really large Georgia Pacific paper mill in downtown, and that's where the Camas High School kind of got their mascot, the paper makers. They are in the process of removing some of that mill right now. It's going to be a many-year process, but they're trying to overhaul the downtown area. And that's another thing that a lot of people like about Camas is there's just this cute little downtown area, and it's got tons of shops and boutiques and salons, and it has cafes and ice cream places and restaurants. So it's got a lot of vibrant life. They do some really cool events throughout the year, like a trick-or-treating around Halloween, and they have an amazing light set up over Christmas time. Just a really popular place. And another thing about Camas is they have been building in Camas pretty heavily for about, I'd say, last 15-ish, 20-ish years, and people love it. It is very hilly in Camas, so there's tons of places to get a house with a view, whether it is a view of the Columbia River or on the other side and a view of Lacamas Lake, and people love Lacamas Lake. I will tell you though, there is a small time during the year that you can't get in Lacamas Lake because it gets the blue-green algae and they close the thing up. But ultimately, people love Camas. They love the schools, they love the homes, they love the area. And hey, and so the second suburb, we laugh because basically all of these are suburbs of Portland, but the suburb of Vancouver is Washougal. And yeah, that's a fun name, Washougal. Well, it is just east of Camas, and it is the beginning point to the scenic and beautiful, majestic, amazing Columbia River scenic area. And basically what that is there is on both sides of the river in Oregon and in Washington, there's the Columbia River Gorge, and then the sides of the gorge, and back just a little ways is the scenic area. And they really don't allow a lot of development or much of anything to happen in that area without a lot of permitting and regulation because they want to keep it pristine and beautiful. But anyways, Washougal is amazing because it is a very up and coming area. They're doing a ton of residential and commercial development right along the Columbia River, where it was just kind of empty for a while, but now they're starting to build apartments and all sorts of different restaurants and commercial spaces so that it'll be really walkable, livable. I'm sure they're going to do an amazing riverfront down there. All takes time. But other reason people love Washougal is because it's still relatively affordable and you can get some amazing Columbia River views because just like Camas, it's got the Columbia River like gorge wall, and they have been building houses up that wall. The other cool part about some of those homes is that they are located in the Camas School District. Just because they are so close to the Camas High School, they're like, oh, well, we'll let some of these kids go to Camas because the Washougal High School is all the way on the other side of town. It's a cute little town. It's got a nice little downtown area. It's not a ton of stuff, but There is one really cool store that if you're from the Pacific Northwest, chances are you do own something from it. It is a Pendleton store. I mean, I own a blanket and a few other things, and it's really good quality made materials here in the Pacific Northwest. And I don't think you're from the Pacific Northwest if you don't own at least one. The next two-ish suburbs we're gonna talk about aren't really suburbs. They're not even really like fully cities. They're actually called census designated places, and it's basically like an unincorporated area that a lot of people live in. And one of those is Brush Prairie. I live in Brush Prairie. I love it. And it is a very, large area and just has a bunch of people in it. So back in 2010, because they only do census counts every 20 years in these, there was only about 2,700 people in Brush Prairie. I'm sure it's exponentially much larger than that because they've been building a lot. A lot of Brush Prairie is within the urban growth boundary of Vancouver, and so they've been building it up and putting all these developments with all these builders. There is quite a bit of commercial and industrial development going on up 117th, which is the road between the northern end of Vancouver. But what you're gonna find in Brush Prairie as a whole is typically a lot of farms and also a few neighborhoods here and there, but you're gonna see acreage. It's very flat. Brush Prairie is very beautiful, very nice. It's quiet. You're gonna find a ton of very blue collar, like salt of the earth style people that are just farmers and just love to do that kind of thing. So Brush Prairie is not too bad of a place. The next suburb that we're going to talk about is Hockinson, and it's really hard to find on a map. Honestly, there's not really any sort of center of town. There's like one little shop and a strip mall that has a salon in it, which I go to, by the way, and, and a car shop, and I'm trying to think, and the gas station, and that's about it. Like, there's not much that makes up Hockinson, but it is a very popular, what they call the census designated place. Lots of people live there, and you either live in the flats of Hockinson or you live in the hills of Hockinson. Most of the houses are zoned 5 acres, so you get these, I call them McMansions on 5 acres. You don't have neighbors super close to you. There's some areas where the neighbors are closer together, but most of the time, you're gonna see these houses, these huge houses on acreage, and people love it. They have horses and pigs. A lot of them, it's just horses, but pigs and cows and llamas. And it is a very wonderful and beautiful place to live. Still quite a bit of building going on, but you're not going to see those like cookie cutter developments. A lot of it's custom builds, larger neighborhoods, larger lots. And another thing people really love about Hockinson is that it is still very commutable to downtown Portland, probably 40 minutes on a good day and probably like an hour and 20 on a bad day. So it's not horrible, it's completely doable. And from what I hear, there's a lot of like executives that live in the Hockinson area because the school district really takes pride and constantly levies their homeowners. I know, I just got my most recent levy and it was astronomical. But I'm all for supporting schools, so that's good. They were supporting after school arts and activities, and we knew where a lot of the money was going, which is great. Other than that, people are very friendly. It's lots of farming, hobby farming, I like to call it. People that have like little stands outside at the end of their driveways. Lots of signs say, hey, come get your eggs here. So if you cannot find eggs at the grocery store, you can drive up into Hockinson, and I guarantee you can find many dozen. Next up on our list of suburbs of Vancouver is Battleground. Well, Battleground is a city, all right? It is located north of Brush Prairie and north of Hockinson, and its population back in 2020 was over 20,000. So it is not a small town. It is getting big. It is very established farming community. There is a lot of acreage property around the outside, but it's also very built up inside. But what you will find is it's a farming community. You're gonna find lots of trucks, lots of Carhartts. You might find a few shotguns here and there. They are very, very, very much a rural Washington community, even though they are considered a suburb of Vancouver. And they have a cute little downtown area for sure. You can walk up and down. There's lots of shops. If you like antiquing, this is a great town to go antiquing in. There's probably, I swear, there's got to be at least 6 antique shops just in the downtown area alone. And then, of course, there's a few others located throughout the city. So you can find tons and tons of good stuff. If you like antiquing, Battleground's a great, great place. But they have cafes and bars and restaurants. They have a whole slew of either just the mom and pop restaurants, or they have tons of different chains. The other thing Battleground has that some of these other suburbs don't have is they have some of the larger box stores, like say Walmart. They have multiple grocery stores. So it is a pretty good size, small town. Ultimately, there's still some new builds going on. There's a lot of other houses to choose from. So it has just about everything that you need. And it is very kind of like Brush Prairie, quiet, salt of the earth, farming community. So if that's the kind of thing that you like, Battleground is a great place to live. And last but not least on our list of suburbs of Vancouver is Ridgefield. It is located directly north up I-5 from Oregon through Vancouver, bam, right there to Ridgefield. Its population was about little over 10,000 in 2020, and it is growing hand over fist. This is probably where the largest amount of building is happening in Southwest Washington. It is in Ridgefield. Ridgefield like changed up their zoning and was like, grow us. And so for the past, I'd say 5 years, they've been just hammering new development after new development after new development. Every time you go up there, there's just like a new group of streets popping up everywhere. Originally, Ridgefield was very much a bedroom community. And you ask, hey, Cass, what's a bedroom community? It's where it's mostly houses. Well, Ridgefield wanted them to build all these houses, and now they have also done a lot of rezoning to bring in box stores so they can bring in things like Targets and Walmarts and a bunch of very large grocery stores so they can support the amount of building and growth that this city has had. One thing I absolutely love about Ridgefield is the old downtown. And it's not old, it's not like it's not there, but like the old downtown is so cute. It has been there obviously forever. And it's just this cute little L in town. And it's got all these little cafes and a couple restaurants and food trucks. And it's just a great little place to spend like a quiet and cozy Saturday. Also nearby the downtown area is the Ridgefield National Wildlife Refuge, and I love it. I've taken my mom there, I've taken my friends there. It's just this really cool place. It's about 5,200 acres of wetland, grassland, and woodlands, and you just pay a little fee. You drive down and across, and you can drive around, and they have all these viewing areas, and you can see so much cool wildlife. I remember we were sitting there, and I watched this hawk just sitting on the top of the tree, and it was obviously watching something, and it just, whew. It was really, it wasn't that long of a drive, but I think it probably took us 2 hours to do it because we were just sitting there and enjoying the wildlife, and it was just really, really cool. And there you have it. There are 6-ish suburbs of Vancouver. So if you are thinking about relocating to Southwest Washington, also known as Vancouver, there's a few other towns for you to choose from, and depending upon what you're looking for, you will find something that will fit your needs. So thank you again for tuning in. My name is Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass. If you enjoyed today's video, found it informational and educational, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will have tons of more content about Southwest Washington, Vancouver, and its surrounding areas as we move along here in the year. If you've got questions, comments, requests, or dedications, please also drop those down in the comments. I'd love to connect with you and answer any of your questions about any of the cities we talked about today, and hopefully find some really cool place that fits you. Otherwise, thank you so much again for tuning in and taking time out of your day to spend it with me. Have a lovely day, and I will see you again next week. Bye.